chasing fire through the years half slow. Weights on my back, sweat in my eyes. Old man's fight never says die. Old man on the mat, still standing tall. One more round, yeah, I've heard it all. Grip the edge, don't let it slip. Strength in the soul, strength in the grip.
The Mat Crew, this is Tony Jones coming at you with another great episode of Old Man on the Mat. Guys, I'm real excited. Yes, I know. I'm very, very excited. Life is good. Every day you take a breath is a good day. As I always start these things, I always say I appreciate my followers. I appreciate you guys for your support, everything you guys doing on the merch, and just following us with the like and subscriptions. As you guys can see, as I said last time, we're just starting to shoot some things out on YouTube. So if you guys can like and share and subscribe and all that kind of stuff there, it'd be great, man. But with that, guys, my guest here is across the pond, and I love it. The guy is from Bangkok. I love this stuff. We can reach anybody on this social media, man. But this guy has one of the best backgrounds of overcoming out there. He's your owner of Iron Will PT. The guy's at three Muay Thai fights. Oh my gosh, you've been beating people up for a while, man, or getting beat up. I don't know which one was it, but hey, guys, with that, I'm going to bring in Ethan Buck. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, thank you, man. I'm doing great. How are you?
Still alive and kicking. Wait, it's noon your time. It's midnight over here, so we're we're doing this late night. I love it, man.
Appreciate you staying up.
No, I appreciate you wanting to do this, man, because I was following you for a little while and I saw your stuff. And the way I find most guys for this, I have a lot of guys that reach out to us. But I found you just looking at some of your videos, and I was like, this is impressive. All the stuff you have pinned there about you losing all the weight. You were, what, 300 pounds at one time, and you're down by, what's your weight now?
So I was 320 at my biggest. Currently, I'm about 220, but I went down. I fought at 175.
Wow. Man,
Yeah,
it's
so
a huge change.
I lost well over 100 pounds initially, and then I've kind of come up in lean mass over the years.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And now, well, let's dive into your story, man, because I see a lot of stuff here. You overcome drug and alcohol abuse, even homelessness and all that stuff. Man, that's inspirational, man. It really is. And your whole program is helping guys 30 to 50 or in that old guy range get better all around, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of our clients are age 35 to 55, and a lot of them do struggle with alcohol, but the main focus is just improving your life through fitness and habit building around nutrition and lifestyle change and mindset. And yeah, man, I've been doing it for 12 years full time now. I still love it.
That's awesome, man. So tell me your story, man. How did you start? Where'd you come from? I want to hear your whole story, and I'm sure everybody does too, because you always see people where they are. And I look on social media, you see these guys, man, these guys look great. You don't know their story, how they got there, and where they come from, because you never know someone's story. You just look at, man, look how great they look now. And you don't realize they were.
Yeah, exactly. You see highlight reels and you think, man, I wish I could be like that. But if you look back, or if that person is willing to talk to you about it, everyone's had their own struggles. They didn't just kind of wake up one day and like, hey, I'm just this genetic freak and I don't have to do anything. I'm lucky, right? This
Exactly.
99.99% of the time it's not the case. So I like to put my past front and center. I don't identify with my past, and I don't let it determine what I do today moving forward. But I think it's important to put the message out there that not all of us have always been fit our whole lives. I was a chubby kid growing up. I'm half British. My mom's British. So grew up back and forth between the States and Scotland. And I moved to Czech Republic when I was 18 or 19. So like 1998, 1999. And I got into, I was into punk rock before then, but I played in punk bands and metal bands. And I did that for almost 20 years. I toured the world. I played in over 45 different countries.
Wow.
And that was like past life, right? But with that comes, and that was fun and amazing. And I have zero regrets. Like, it got to be a very dark place. But when you're on tour and you're playing shows, maybe 45 nights in a row, you get into some bad habits, man. I mean, you're not sleeping, you're taking drugs to perform and just have fun. You're drinking every night, not eating very well. Do that enough and long enough, those become some habits. So that ran me into some trouble. So I kind of hit a couple breaking points. And when I kind of dialed back on the partying, I really just ballooned up. That's when I got up to 320 pounds. In fact, I remember seeing 300 pounds on the scale and like trying not to cry.
Man.
And I just shoved it down, right? Men, we have this kind of
We have to
this
shove it down.
ability
Yeah.
to shove shit down and be like, whatever, it's not real if I don't think about it.
Right.
And I did that for a long time. And then the next time I thought, man, I feel bigger. Got on the scale again and I saw 320. It's like, oh, fuck this. Okay, I'm doing something
man.
with this. And that was really kind of one of the breaking points when it comes to losing weight. So yeah, man, party life, playing in punk bands, touring the world, and then losing weight, and then just becoming extremely interested and fascinated with the world of health and fitness. I just thought I'd start helping people do similar things, go through the struggles, get through the struggles that I went through myself.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, when you were going through this process, what was that? Everyone has that, I think, that light, because we've all, or everyone tried to do something for a while. They stopped, they tried, they failed. And it's always that one point, in my mind, that make you say, you know what, screw this. I'm going to stick to this. What was that for you?
Yeah. And I talk about this a lot, and 90% of our clients have tried and failed at long-term sustainable weight loss and health at least twice, if not, 6 or 7 times. It's just such a common pattern. And the reason for that is just all the damn noise online about nutrition, about training, all the extreme bias.
Yeah.
So just as a side note, a simple way to identify someone who's promoting these things with an extreme bias usually means that they're full of shit.
Yeah.
Is they're completely adamant about their approach and their message. Not positive, not confident. That should be confident message, but just adamant that there's ways, the only way. This diet's the only good diet. All of them suck. You're going to die and get diabetes if you don't eat this way. That kind of stuff.
Right.
People who put message out, these extremes, this black and white approach, they're always just completely full of it, and you should completely avoid them.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
I'll say this: I did keto before it was cool. Before it became really popular. I remember when it was like kind of catching ground
with Atkins days and stuff, Dr. Atkinson or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Fasting started becoming a thing. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because I tried weight loss and I'd seen some success, but I never really developed the habits. I just didn't know. I mean, I just thought, well, maybe I'll start jogging and eating more salads.
Yeah.
That was like the extent of my knowledge. And that, I was, like 28, 29 years old or something. Be a little younger. And then I got into some of those things, and CrossFit and extreme workouts. Yeah, of course I lost weight, but it just wasn't sustainable. I hated the diet. I felt terrible. I was overtraining. I was under eating. It was just wreaking havoc on my body. And eventually I got sick of failing, that I just kind of gunned my way through it, lost a ton of weight, but I didn't end up where I thought I'd be. I lost a lot of weight, but I looked and felt like a smaller version of my previous fat self, if that makes sense, right? I was small, but my body composition was still the same, and I just didn't feel great.
Skinny fat.
Essentially, I got skinny fat, exactly.
Yeah.
So the term is sarcopenic obesity, and that means that you've lost a lot of muscle and you're still obese, right? Even though you're not a big obese person, the muscle to fat ratio still makes you obese technically. And that is just equally as unhealthy as being obese.
Yeah.
Right? Being big. Because you don't have the metabolic capacity to handle certain things with such muscle loss. So I ended up there, and that's where I was like incredibly frustrated. Like, well, I thought I was doing everything right. I'm just not happy with my body and how I feel and how I look, how I perform. And that's when I honestly hired my first coach. That was the game changer. That was the thing I really needed. And obviously I have a bias towards it, but I think that's the thing most people need. Most people just keep trying to do the same thing over and over again. How many times has someone tried 75 hard and just ended up
I know a lot of people that preach to that, and they really run. I don't knock it. I'm just saying they preach, and that's all they do. And I'm like, okay, I've never done it. They said, read this book, you'll do great. I'm like, I read enough already.
I mean, let me know what you think. Is 75 hard days better than 365 consistent days?
I get it. I get it.
Even if you do 75 hard twice a year, that's still not even 50% of a year.
Exactly.
Why put an endpoint? Why put an endpoint on this stuff? And not just to knock that. I mean, it's all those things. 30-day challenges, 2-week, 2-month challenges, whatever. They always have an endpoint. Why would you cap off something so fantastic and brilliant and good for you as your progress with health and strength and fitness and just lifestyle? Like, why put an endpoint on it?
Yeah. That makes sense, man. Yeah.
So, that's the mindset people are stuck in. man, I've really gotten out of shape over the last several years. Let me see if I can fix that in a couple months.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, real with
Salads.
yourself. You're a grown man. Yeah, you're a grown man and you're
Yeah,
behaving like an impatient child.
yeah, yeah.
That's not manly behavior. I mean, come on, let's get real for a second. So
I like
I
that.
got definitely got caught up in that. Hiring that first coach, I mean, I still use coaches, was really my initial kind of like aha moment. Like, this is
Okay.
where I learned a lot. This is where a lot of this makes sense. And that's what propelled me to find a more sustainable way of doing it. That's when I started looking better, feeling better, became the most consistent I've ever been, and felt the best I've ever felt. So,
That's pretty
yeah.
cool. Yeah, that does make sense. I look at all this stuff too, and I say a lot to a friend all the time, especially trying to get more flexible and stretch more. And I just love the videos that pop up, and it's always these 22-year-old guys or girls, flexible all over, spin their legs all over their head, and like, you should try this, and you'll be flexible tomorrow. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can't do it.
Yeah, it's wild. And that, that's all that how I got into fitness, like the health and fitness stuff. I got into martial arts quite a bit earlier than that, 10 or 12 years earlier than that, for
Yeah.
actually completely different reasons.
Okay.
Like I said, I was living in the Czech Republic. I moved there in the late 90s, early 2000s, which was not too long after the fall of communism, about a decade. So for a
Yeah.
country to
Brand
pick
new.
up after, yeah, 10 years for a country to kind of pick up after something like communism is still kind of in its infancy, right?
Yeah, big time.
And it is a much different place now, but there was a lot of corruption. There was a lot of just kind of petty crime on the streets. And there was a lot back then when I moved there. Like I said, it's completely different now. It's safe. It's nice. Actually, one of the safest countries in Europe now.
Okay.
Back then, though, there was roaming gangs of like football hooligans. And man, this term has kind of gotten out of hand, especially in the States lately, but actual fascist Nazi skinheads,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
just not just people who have a different political belief or they're leaning right. I mean, dudes with
Exactly.
swastika tattoos on their necks and they'd stab you in the face. Right?
Right. Exactly.
And me being a punk rocker, they definitely hated me and hated them, but I was just like a little like party punk guy, and they were
Right.
jacked and fit and all fought Muay Thai, and I didn't know what Muay Thai was.
Wow.
So we get into these altercations, which kind of turned into like this gang violence, gang warfare on the streets for a while. They'd attack bars and shows. They'd
Wow.
attack people going to shows and coming home. I mean, just randomly, you just run into a dozen of them on the street that are just out looking for blood.
Holy cow.
Whenever that happened, I mean, I'd be getting kicked in the legs and kneed in the chest and elbowed and stuff. And I was talking to some friends of mine, like, you really like had some bad luck recently with these guys. I was like, yeah, I don't get it. Like, they're kicking me in the legs and stuff. Like, what
So
is
what
that?
is that?
Yeah, they all do Thai boxing. I was like, hang on a second. These guys hate colored people, but they do an Asian martial art. That blew my mind.
Right.
But
Right.
my friend's like, hey, we actually train that too because they do. So why don't you come train with us? And that's when I started like getting into Muay Thai. I was like, okay, this makes more sense. This is brutal and it's fun. I feel great. It's better than partying all the time. And I was able to kind of defend myself a little bit better whenever I had those altercations, which sometimes they were really frequent. Sometimes it was just a fluke, like maybe once or twice a year. But there were times there where it happened like a couple times a month.
Holy cow, man. You're fighting for your life. Jeez.
I mean, it was fight or flight. You stand your ground, or they'd probably get killed, or you run away, collect a few blows, and then run away, type of thing. Real. On that note, the fantasy of violence that a lot of guys have, it's not a cool Hollywood thing. It's nasty. It's unpredictable.
Yeah.
You're getting a death match. Your injury. There's no referee. It doesn't matter how good you are at MMA or anything like that. I mean, there's multiple people. There's weapons. There's different environment. There's not a padded mat to fall on.
Exactly. It's chaos, man. Chaos. Yeah.
It's nasty. So I don't recommend using your martial arts skills in real life unless you absolutely have to defend yourself or the ones you love.
Exactly. I should tell my students all that. I had a gym for about 10 years or so, and I had that. And I always talk to my students and say, how many of you guys been in a real fight? And most of the adults will be like, none of them, maybe one. And they don't realize that it is chaos. It is truly, you're not going to do a perfect kick. It's not going to be a perfect throw. It's not going to be any of that. It's crazy, man.
There's no warm up. It's nasty.
Right.
It's unpredictable.
Right.
I used to work as a bouncer in a strip club in Portland, Oregon.
So did I. Yeah.
Okay. So you add young guys out together, testosterone,
Liquor.
alcohol,
Yeah.
maybe drugs, and a ton of very attractive naked women doing things your mother would never want to hear about.
Right.
You know, you tell one of those guys, hey man, you got to calm down, you're going to have to go, or you cut them off, right?
Yeah.
Because they're too
Yeah.
intoxicated. That never goes well, right?
No,
So
never.
a lot of nasty fights that way. And you know, while you're the sober one, you're bigger, stronger, more capable. I mean, we still got hurt,
Oh
right? There'd be
yeah.
3 or 4 who were like pretty jacked, strong, like martial artists, and you just never know. Bottles in
Yeah.
the back of the head, or just
Yeah.
just a there'd be times where we have an altercation with someone, and a complete bystander would think that we're hurting someone,
And
or
they
we're just
jump
talking.
in. Yeah.
They jump in, and they don't know that person or us. It's just you
Yeah.
never know. So
Yeah.
just be careful out on the streets if you think you're going to start training martial arts, and then you can go out. This is mostly to the young guys, right? Young guys
Yeah.
tend to do this.
We're too old for that now.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to chill out and have fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, the younger guys, they go to a martial arts class a couple times and they start walking around like this looking for a fight.
Got the wingspans with no wings.
Yeah, yeah. I call it ILS, imaginary lat syndrome.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, those guys are just gonna get themselves or someone else killed.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And it's so funny, you know. I love going to dive bars. That's my thing. It's not for the drink, it's for the atmosphere. You know, I just love those. Everybody just hang out and join each other because dive bars are better than in my opinion, upscale bars. Because dive bars, nobody cares. They're just hanging out, you know. And I've had some, guys bump or whatever, and they look at you funny at certain bars. And hey, I'll buy a guy a drink in a heartbeat because I don't want to fight. You know what I mean? Hey, let me buy you a drink. You may just be having a bad day. Here's a drink. Let's sit down and talk. I don't care, man. I don't fight
Yeah,
nobody.
exactly. Those places, that's where like real people are.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not trying to flaunt like this fake like lavish lifestyle or prove anything. They're just like, look, dude, I just work a lot and I just want to hang out.
I just want to have a beer. Let's chill, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's the best way to be.
It is, man. But I like what you said about martial arts, and I think all that, martial arts and fitness works hand in hand, especially as you get older. I'm still 29. Don't say anything. Be quiet, bro. I'm still 29 in my head, right? But you get older, your body's out, you feel different. You can't move the way you move. You used to be able to move. You can't do half the things you used to do. How do you work with guys getting past that? You know what I mean? Or getting through that?
Bio-individual thing, I'd say most of the guys that we work with aren't quite at that level to where they recognize that as an issue so much.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
I think the most common pattern would be a guy, say, in his 40s deciding to get into shape, and he keeps going back to what he used to do in college or back to his boot camp days in the military, or
Yeah.
I used to wrestle and this is how I cut weight, and they try that and like it didn't really work. Like,
They're out.
Dude, like so you're a different human being now. You've got kids
Right.
and a job and stress, and you don't sleep very well.
That's true.
My approach for people, I guess I'll answer this in 2 ways. People who are starting out, especially if you're 40 plus, is over the years I've really discovered, and I'm pretty adamant about this, is that the minimal effective dose is really the true way to start something out health and fitness wise, so you can have sustainable progress and leave room for progress in the following weeks and months and years.
Okay. Okay.
So if you take the common scenario, I was on YouTube and man, I don't know, this guy trains 5 days a week and he doesn't eat fruit because blah blah blah. So I did that, and I could only do it for like 3 weeks, and then I fell off track, and then I had to start from scratch all over again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's common.
Well, hey man, look, if you haven't really worked out consistently for a year plus, let alone 15 or 20, if you're going from zero, why don't you just go like 1 or 2 days a week and just try and eat a little bit more protein and go for a walk, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then from there, if you're feeling good, you're like, man, this is making me feel good. I can do this. Why don't I bump it up to like maybe 3 or 4 days, go for a couple more walks, and instead of just focusing on protein, why don't I actually like bring my dietary fat and or my carbs down a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not extreme. People just go from this one extreme, like I'm out of shape, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, to this next extreme. I'm just going to remove all of my joy in my life, all of my food, and then torture myself in the gym because that is fitness. It's like, oh, it's not.
And you fail every time. Every time.
Being a sweaty, nauseous mess on the floor after your workouts is not an indicator of an effective workout.
Right.
An indicator of an effective workout is something you can progress each and every week upon without running yourself into the ground. Because if you run yourself into the ground, what
Yeah.
happens? You fucking do it.
You won't do it anymore. You're done. A couple of days of that, you're done.
The most advanced thing you can do is master the basics with consistency.
Okay. Gotcha. I like that.
So that's guys beginning, right? So I'll tell you, I'm 44, and once I crossed 40, I was doing strongman competitions from like 38 to 40, 42.
Wow.
Right? So
Wow.
at that time, I wasn't training martial arts because strongman just makes you feel like you got kicked down a flight of stairs.
Really?
So I was walking around about 250, 245. I was a lot bigger than I am now. I'm 6'3",
Oh,
currently
wow.
like 220.
Right.
So pretty big. And I always kind of laughed at people who just said, just wait until you're 40.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll never happen. That won't be me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just. Now, here's something I'll be very clear about and very careful with my words. Once you cross 40, things do change a little bit. It's not like this, boom, oh no, I'm 40, because too many guys identify with that age as some sort of diagnosis, right? It's a problem. I'm at 40, so I can't really do that. It's my metabolism. It's like, no, dude. It's the fact that you're not consistent. That's the problem, right?
Okay.
You can
Gotcha.
still train like a wild man in your 40s, but you have to be smarter about it. And that can only come through one, experience, or two, working with a coach that understands your individual needs. You're not just
Gotcha.
going to figure that out by hopping on like a 30-day challenge. You're not going to figure that out within your few months of staying consistent with a sustainable plan.
Right.
It
Right.
takes time to figure things out. So once I hit 40-ish, one, I got terrible tinnitus. So
Okay.
I got
Ringing,
ringing
yep.
in my ears.
Yep.
I played in punk band forever, so that's kind of a given.
Yep.
I started getting readers. I started complaining that why do menus have such small lettering all the time? And I'm like, oh, that's an old guy complaint. That's weird. So I have to wear readers. And then training wise, I really noticed that I needed more recovery time,
Okay.
or I needed to dial back my training with less volume but more intensity. So what I
Okay.
mean by that in terms of weight training, I was no longer doing 3 or 4 sets of things with, by the way, your first 1 or 2 sets, that's where you get the most intensity, right?
Okay.
And then it kind
Yeah.
of tapers down. And I'm talking strength and hypertrophy training for size, muscle building. So I kind of figured, well, why don't, if I get the most out of my first and second set, why don't I just cap it off there instead of doing this 3 or 4 or 5 sets? It doesn't seem to be that beneficial. And
Okay.
maybe do it a little less frequently, but more intensely, like closer proximity to failure.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Gotcha.
lo and behold, I'd been lifting for years at that point. I started growing more muscle and getting stronger. I'm like, less is more when you're smart about it. Right?
Okay.
If you actually put in effort. So I could put in more effort into less work.
Yeah.
And I think that is really a key for older guys. I don't think that doing a 5-day-a-week lifting routine or even a 3 or 4-day-a-week lifting routine with multiple sets over and over again, it just
Okay.
turns into fluff work. And by fluff work, I mean, you're doing this, you're causing systemic fatigue in your body, right? Not just the muscles, but the central nervous system, which is the battery for your muscles to operate. You're causing this overall systemic fatigue, and you're just constantly in this recovery hole. Now,
Gotcha.
the point of, in this sense of fitness and strength training and muscle building, is to dig a little hole through the stimulus of training and then be able to refill it with a little mound on top of it. That little mound is that progress,
Okay. Okay.
right? And then the next time you do it, you dig a little bit hole and then you build a little mound on top of that when you refill it, right? But if you're doing too much, too often, you're just constantly digging that hole and trying to refill it and it never gets completely full again, let alone doesn't have a little mound on top, which is your progress. So
Gotcha.
more recovery, less frequent, less volume, and more intensity. So
Okay.
whether that be 3 or 4 days a week, I think that's kind of a sweet spot for guys who are reasonably dialed in. So I had to really kind of do that with strongman, and eventually it was like, look, I'm getting so big. My blood pressure was a little bit high. I was having some sleep issues. And while with strongman, you're conditioned, you can explode, you can move fast, but not for very long. I was like, man, I feel like I'm performing like a strength athlete, which is awesome, but I couldn't walk up a hill without getting gassed and stuff. Like, this is stupid. I'm in fitness, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
I left that on the table. I could feel injuries waiting to happen too. I mean, you're lifting like 500, 600, 700 pounds and you're putting stuff over your head. It's a couple 100 pounds. Like it's just, a terrible, nasty injury happened. So I left that on the table. It was fun. And now I just mostly do bodybuilding, Muay Thai multiple times a week, 5 times a week here, and go for more walks, make sure I'm sleeping well, manage my stress, eat good food.
That's pretty cool, man. Now, see, you hit on something a second ago when you were saying that. You know, we have, how do you deal with most of these clients? And I think you already touched on it, but I want to go in a little deeper with some of these clients that come in without giving your secret sauce for free, you know. But how do you come with these guys? And I tell you, I've been that guy before. Like you were saying earlier, I've worked out all my life. I've been fit. I want to get this done, so I'm doing too much. Because it seems like what your approach, if I'm not misunderstanding you, is your approach is it's a long process. It doesn't have to be forever, but it is not a 90-day fix. It's going to take a while. Do you have that problem? A lot of your clients, well, you know what, this is just taking too long, which I think is a crazy mindset, but.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I have no secret sauces. I'm an open book.
Okay.
I tell everyone, I mean, there's no secrets, but I'm very transparent about what I do and how I do it. And look, there's information and there's also application. And most people don't have an information problem; they have an application problem. They don't apply it, right? Like you can collect all the information you want. We're living in an era of infinite information.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah,
all over. Yeah.
Struggle to stay consistent, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it's because they're doing the wrong things that aren't suitable to them, or it's just they're not disciplined enough. They don't have the habits built yet, right? To take these things on. So back to the question, I really start off with an assessment. So when I take on a new client, it's a 5 to 7 day long assessment.
Okay.
To collect a lot of data about them. And the initial stages as a coach is really, I'm more of Inspector Gadget than I am a coach in the beginning, right?
Okay.
I want to know what your problems have been for the last several months, if not years, right? In terms of your health and fitness, like what was causing you to derail? So I'm really digging into that. Why were you in a plateau? How do we break through that? So that's really what I'm digging into. Now, for people who have done these short-term fixes and they see quick progress, like a decent amount of quick progress, but they never keep it, right? Say someone did, I don't know, 75 hard again and they lost 15 pounds and then they're like, yeah, but I lost 15 pounds. I'm like, cool. What happened after that? I'm like, well, I gained it back.
And they usually blow up.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, so you lost 15, you gained 20, but somehow you think that works. Look, if you can't keep the results, ultimately it wasn't, if you can't keep the results, then ultimately it wasn't effective, right? Like, what is the point? So breaking that mindset with people, it really is a mindset thing. One, I track a lot of data in terms of their progress. Okay, so throughout the relationship, we do weekly check-ins. Sometimes I send photos. I monitor their progress through the check-ins. I can pull up an abundance of data where they're like, I don't know, coach, it just doesn't seem like it's taking very long. Are we good? Oh, so I collect an abundance of data on my clients throughout the process. So when they come at me and they're like, I don't know, this just doesn't seem like it's working so much, or they're used to losing a lot of weight and seeing that as progress, but they rebound and gain it all back, if not more, which isn't progress, then I can pull up this data and say, okay, so I don't know, just last week you told me that your clothes are fitting better. You're getting compliments. You're sleeping better. You have more energy. I can see through your training, you're progressing each and every week. This is the strongest you've ever been. And you've lost now, say, 20 pounds and have managed to keep it off for longer than ever before.
Right.
Could you repeat that back to me? And they'll be like, well, clothes are fitting better. I'm getting compliments. I have more energy. I'm sleeping better. I'm getting stronger. I've lost weight. I managed to keep it off. So there's like 7 things there, and you're freaking out about this week because you didn't lose any weight. Tell me how that's a problem.
Yeah.
Right. And you have to have those blunt conversations with your clients. I mean, don't be a dick about it, right? But you should be able to call your clients out and have those semi-uncomfortable conversations sometimes.
True.
That's what people are here for. That's what your clients are here for, is to get coached and to have some perspective and the mindset change. They think that they're here for sets, reps, and macros. And, that definitely helps us at the forefront of our successes. But if you can't help your clients figure out the other 23 hours of the day, which includes lifestyle, includes mindset, includes stress management, includes sleep, everything, all of the above, you're probably not helping them out to their full capacity that you could be. Right?
Good point.
So I can pull up a graph of someone's like weight loss progress, and it might be up and down because fat loss is not linear. Right? Yeah. It's not a straight, hey, I went from point A to B and it was awesome because I hired a coach. It's like, no, he had an awesome week, couple weeks, and then, you didn't sleep very good that week. family was visiting, so we plateaued for 3 days.
Yeah.
Like who
Yeah.
cares, right? And then it
Right.
trended back down, and it bumped up again a little bit because I don't know, maybe sodium intake and water intake. You had a higher carb meal at night, so you're holding on to some extra water, and they're in this moment in time where they see, for example, the scale go up by a pound or two, or maybe three or
Yeah.
four, and it's
Yeah.
just catastrophe for them. But
Yeah.
I take a
This
very
doesn't work
zoomed out.
anymore.
Yeah, I take a very zoomed out view of this, and I can pull up that data and highlight. Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You'd be a little frustrated this week wasn't great, but do we want to let perfect be the enemy of good? Because you're doing really good overall,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love the way you think seriously, man, because that makes a lot of sense. A lot of times I'm working out, like I get up in the morning, I do my whole stretch routine, trying to keep the back loose and all this stuff, and then I work out. And sometimes I do go through that, because I try not to jump on the scale every day and look at where I am. But sometimes you want to look at it and it's like, see that extra pound. It's like, geez, Louise, I ate great yesterday. I was in the zone. I felt good. I didn't do anything. And now my scale went up. It's a mental thing. You know what I mean?
definitely a mental thing. And what you want to track is trends, not like a specific moment in time,
Okay.
right? If we're
Got
trending the right direction, then we're fine.
Gotcha. So here, 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 here.
Yeah, yeah. Like I had a conversation with a client yesterday, and uh, we're he's getting down to 210. He's at 212. Went down to 212, and then yesterday he was 214, and he's a little bit like, I don't know, like why is that? Like, well, a lot of reasons. One could be salt intake, could be higher carb, could be from your workout. Your muscles hold on to water after workouts because it's good inflammation, but there's inflammation in your muscles. It's good
Yeah.
inflammation,
Yeah.
but your muscles hold on to water to deal with that, right? So it's called sarcoplasmic fluid. Maybe you didn't go to the bathroom before you weighed yourself. Who knows? It could be a lot of things, right? But the fact is we saw the lowest number on the scale that you've seen as an adult male.
Mm.
And that's the right trend. So I can guarantee you'll probably see that more consistently if you follow the plan consistently. And then the next thing is 210. And then you'll hit 210, you might go back to 212. But then you'll stay at 210 and you might see 208, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a trend over a long period of time.
Now, do you see, I'm going to say, you'll start seeing that normal trend happen within 6 months or, 90 days or something like that, where it gives these customers that relief of, okay, I should be looking for down the road a year. I should look a whole lot better, feel a whole lot better, the whole thing. Hope I asked that right without fumbling it up. But anyway.
No, I got what you mean. Yes. Really here's the interesting thing about starting a relationship with a client or a person starting a relationship with a coach is the first few weeks are always fantastic
Yeah.
because they're excited.
Yeah.
Something new. I'm going to follow this plan. And it's awesome. Lots of communication. Hey, coach, I lost another pound. Hey, coach, my shirt's a little bit looser in the midsection. I had to go down a belt loop, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're a normal human being, so this is totally fine. Life is going to happen sometimes. Your old habits are going to creep in occasionally, and you're going to fall off track. You won't be as good as you were in your first initial weeks, and that's okay. It's completely normal. But that is where people really start to beat themselves up because they're like perfectionists with this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, hold on. You're going from not being consistent at all to thinking you can be perfect 100% of the time. Like I said earlier, we don't want to let perfect be the enemy of good. Perfection
Right.
is temporary with these things. Good can be for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so if they're beating themselves up, they're usually not communicating as much as they used to, right?
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. They
so and
hide.
so's gotten
Yeah.
a little quiet. Their first 2-3 weeks they were like writing me every day, which is awesome. I encourage it. But now they're a little quiet, so I know that they're not so enthusiastic because they're struggling with something. And I reach out to them like, yeah, I messed up. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
well, you're also a human being. You're not like David Goggins, right? Like, who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah. Right.
Right?
Right.
You're still in a better place than where you were at last month, right?
Right. Right.
Okay, so what can we do to fix that? And it's usually like, oh, pick up where I left off. I'm like, exactly. Sounds like a plan, right?
There you go.
So it really is a mindset thing. It really is just about having the right conversations.
Yeah, yeah. See, in your field, you see yourself being more of a, not want to say more of, but a therapist also. You know what I mean?
Almost,
Because you
yeah.
help
And I
guys
don't
get
like to
their
put that out
mind
there.
right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's totally true. Mindset is a crucial element to helping people long term. And you're exactly right. I'm a little quiet about that because I don't want people to come in and think that they're getting therapy sessions because I
Yeah.
don't.
Exactly.
I just reel them back to reality. I bring people back to
That's cool. Man.
reality. I've had, I mean, 12 years, dude. I've had, when I was training people in person, now I do everything online since 2017, but I was training
Oh
people
man, so you're out
in
there. Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah.
I actually was one of the top performing trainers at 24-hour fitness for 2 years in a row. I was doing 8 or 9 one-on-one personal training sessions for an hour, 6 days a week. It
Wow.
was just
How did you
horrible.
work out during that time? How did you keep yourself in great
Well,
shape?
yeah, my master plan was, all right, I'll knock out 4 or 5 training sessions in the morning, crush a workout, eat, and then do it again later, right? Like
Yeah, you're right.
do
That's the
4 or 5.
plan.
Really, what it turned into was there's this massive closet at the gym. Just me taking a nap in there and hating my life.
There you
So
go.
burnt out.
Oh
So
yeah.
burnt out.
Wow.
I felt the worst I'd felt, and I was the fitness guy. So it's like, okay, I got to change this. So that's when I started my online business. But I was going to say, with helping that amount of people over the years, especially in person, people like to vent. It's
Yeah.
my pampering hour, right?
Yeah.
So you could go from one person saying, "Oh my God, you would not believe how long I had to wait for my latte this morning," and then
Yeah.
the next person would be crying because their husband's dying of cancer. And you're like,
Wow.
"Oh God, damn, this is
Man.
like heavy." And you're talking, "Oh man, I'm really sorry that latte took 7 minutes. That sounds like a horrible day, right?" It's
Yeah.
just like, that's
Wow.
not me. Like I would usually shut it down. Like, man, that sounds like it sucks. Well, do you want to bench now?
Right. Wow.
Right. Well, let's get back to the workout and stop bitching.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
a little bit hard after those people because I
Yeah.
just needed boundaries for myself. I couldn't take
Yeah.
that on.
Yeah.
And also track their progress and also take notes and then also run the business inside of the gym. It was just too much. So I just, if it's turning into this like crying about something outside of what we're doing together, keeping in mind that it affects your progress and your consistency. Life happens, right? You have
Right.
a lot of
Right.
stress.
Right.
You got overtime at work. Something's going. You're moving. Something's happening in the family. I 100% acknowledge that can derail you and will derail you from your consistency. But through weekly check-ins with a client, what I see is these kind of things popping up over the weeks. I can have this almost crystal ball and connect the dots and say, "Hey, I've noticed this is happening over the last week or so. Why don't we dial things back a little bit so that you don't fall off track and come
Mm.
back to it when quote unquote better?" Right?
Okay.
Why don't we
Gotcha.
change things a little bit so you don't feel like a failure for not sticking to these macros or this plan or your training
Yeah.
routine? Because it sounds
Yeah.
like you're going through some hard times, right?
Yeah.
And they appreciate that. And that's pretty much as far as I take it. But when it comes to changing your perspective about this process, that's a little bit different than like a full-on therapy session.
Working out is more of a mental thing too. It fights depression and all that kind of stuff, right?
Actually, clinically proven to be, I think it was 750% more effective than leading depression and anxiety medication.
Wow, man. We need a lot of that in the States, I tell you, brother. I need to be working out, man.
Yeah, pill popping, culture,
Yeah.
and it's for people our age, our parents are that generation where it's just listen to your doctor and just take the medication.
Right. Right.
So people, these kind of like 60, 70-year-old people, it is hard to get them to put trust in the process and
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
Their idea is like, well, 40 is actually pretty old and I'm 70, so I just need to not do anything. It's like,
Right.
no,
I'm just gonna
actually,
die. Yeah.
yeah, actually, you're the demographic that should be taking this the most seriously.
Right. Now, when you have older clients in there, I'm sure you treat them differently than the younger ones. And as when I say older, I mean 60, 70, 80. They're not as flexible. Their bones are brittle, the whole thing. Do you have a special workout for them or they do the same thing, but you still assess them differently?
It's basically a modified version
Okay.
of what people do. There's no real need to change things up too much. Like I
Okay.
said, the most advanced thing you could do is master the basics with consistency.
Okay.
So as long as we're getting them stronger in certain positions, a squat pattern, a hinge pattern,
Mm-hmm.
a push, horizontal pull, vertical press, and vertical pull, and be able to grip things and carry things and rotate,
Yeah.
they're doing pretty good, right?
Okay.
So your strength training for the older demographic, I think, is probably the most crucial thing you can do for them. because they've already atrophied. Their bones are weaker. Strength training is fantastic for bone health as well. Their connective tissues become stronger. And most older people's injuries is just from being weak, right? They go to, get something out of the cupboard and they have a rotator cuff injury. It's like,
just from reaching for something. Yeah.
Right. You bend over and you have a back injuries. You can't even carry your own body weight in a hinge pattern, right? Let alone squat. So it's basically just a modified version of that. I'm not trying to get them to, hit PRs necessarily. Sometimes over time, they've been lifting for a while and I'm like, hey, you're pretty strong. Like, I fully trust that you can do this. What do you feel about that? And they're like, yeah, I want to see what I can do. Right. And they do it and they're fine. But of course, cardiovascular exercise is incredibly important for everybody too. But it's just a modified version. We need to focus on muscle building and bone density for them mostly because they get the cardiovascular benefits from that kind of training too. And then reducing body fat is a thing for older people. But by the time a lot of them are 60 or 70 and they're interested in like getting stronger, body fat is definitely a thing that they want to reduce. But really, once I show them, hey, if we just watch our calories and we eat more protein, older people, by the way, need a little bit more protein than us. And we focus on getting you stronger. Like you'll start to feel better and the weight will start to come off. We don't need to go on like diets and do a bunch of cardio. Cardio's great. I'm not a person I do cardio. Everyone should do it for your brain and your heart health.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Older people, they're fun to work with because they're a little bit more open to things too. Younger people kind of have like a bit of a challenging, like, I don't know, but I heard this thing and I heard that thing. Older people are just like, okay.
YouTube jitsu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you work a diet for your clients also? Because, not diet, but nutrition, because diet, they're all over the place. Yeah, but do you have a set one for all of them or everyone's different?
That's a great question. So everyone's different in terms of the quantities that they need, right? Depending on a few variables. Your most basic that a lot of people know is like age, height, weight, activity level. That's, what your any calorie or macro calculator will spit out for you. The problem with those in the beginning, however, is let's just say that you're like, hey man, how many calories should I eat? What should my macros be for fat loss? And if I didn't know any better, if I was an experienced coach or just an inexperienced person in general, or you just used an app, it would say, let's just say 2,200 calories, X amount of protein, carbs, and fats. And you're like, okay. And then you try it and you're like, man, this doesn't feel right? It feels like a lot of food. Like that protein, I feel like it's giving me some digestive issues. I feel bloated and this is pretty unpleasant.
Yeah.
Maybe you're eating twice that amount and all of a sudden we took 50% of your food and removed it from your diet.
Right.
Or maybe you were actually eating less than that. You didn't even know it. And someone didn't assess you.
Okay.
And then now you just added calories to your fat loss plan.
Gotcha.
Right? How do you think that's going to pan out? So the problem with those is that no one's really taken a look at where you sit currently. And that's a whole thing. Being a responsible coach is in the beginning stages all about meeting people where they're at now. So you can meet them there, right? Instead of just kind of throwing random things at them. Now, when it comes to the individual, look, there's no unless they have like dietary restrictions, which isn't that common. Most people think they have like a gluten intolerance, but it's not as common as it's just not that common. Or some other foods, right? It's like, hey, that I don't sit well with this. Cool. We don't ask you to eat that. But there's no like special plan. It's quantities, right? The quantity of your food. And of course, quality matters.
Yes.
But I really like a more flexible approach with people when it comes to nutrition so they don't feel like they're on a diet to get healthy and lose weight.
Yeah.
When you feel like you're on a diet, there's restrictions. And I think at heart, most people are inherently a little bit of a rebel. And if you impose all these rules upon them, eventually they're like, man, screw all these rules. Like, I want, right?
Yeah.
To where I'm at, a client's like, hey, I ate pizza this week. And I'm like, awesome. Was it good? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, cool. And by the way, you still lost weight. And like, what, really? I thought I was doing bad because I had pizza with my boyfriend or something. Like, well, why is that bad if you lost weight? Also, by the way, do we see tomatoes as an unhealthy food? Like, no. Is cheese an unhealthy food? Like, no. Is bread an unhealthy food? No. So why, if we put it together, why all of a sudden is it considered unhealthy?
It's a mental thing there again. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Pizza's bad. No, it's actually awesome.
Yeah.
And if you can fit it into your diet occasionally, I'm not talking about going and binging on it. I'm not talking about ordering it multiple times a week. But if you can go out and enjoy a few slices and maybe even have a beer and still be successful,
Yeah.
then you need to do that, right?
Yeah.
You need these
Yeah.
mental breaks from your diet too, from your tracking your macros. So I take a very flexible approach with people. So kind of if you can fit this into your plan and still enjoy life, then you're succeeding, and that's how you keep your progress. If I
Right.
tell you you're not allowed to eat certain foods, if there's like a, thou shall not eat,
Yeah.
13
Yeah.
foods type of thing,
Yeah.
you're not going to stick to it very long. You're going to hate me. You're going to hate the process. You're going to quit
Yeah.
and say that didn't work.
Yeah.
And as a person who cares, and also as a business owner, that's probably the most irresponsible thing I could do for somebody. Is tell
Yeah.
them you're not allowed to. It's like, hey man, you're an adult. You can make these decisions. I think if we're 85, 90% consistent with what I'm asking you to do, and you can squeeze in a beer, and you can squeeze in a burger or a date night here and there,
Yeah. Yeah.
ice cream with the kids on a Sunday, and still be successful,
Yeah.
then tell me why that's a problem.
Right. Right. Because it's human nature or the system or the society, we always train it's all or nothing. If you're not,
Yep.
you're not eating perfect, you're going to be fat. You had a slice of pizza, you're going to be fat. You had a beer, you're going to be fat. I think it's that all in nature mindset that we have.
Which is interesting because people don't do that with normal everyday things so much, but they do that with their most personal thing, their
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird. You don't do that when you go buy a car or you go grocery shopping. You're not in this like frantic mode to try and speed up the process and like make this like
Yeah.
perfect.
That's
You just
true.
go do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. But what I'm liking now that I'm seeing that over the trends as time goes on, health and nutrition and fitness, they're going back to just common sense things. Am I understanding that right? You know what I mean? Common sense and not the fads and
100%.
all that kind of stuff.
Like where at what point, I mean, I know the answer. It's the internet, the
Yeah,
rise of social media.
yeah,
But at what point did we just forget that like a well-rounded diet and exercising more is kind of just the key to being healthy? Now, that's exercise versus training. Training is working towards a specific outcome, and exercise is just kind of being healthy and active, right?
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah,
So if we want to get specific, then we tighten things up a little bit, and we train with a focus,
right.
with a vision, just to get healthy and lose a little bit of weight. A well-rounded diet that's a calorie deficit and exercising more is totally fine. Probably won't see the body composition change you want. Probably won't look exactly like you thought, but
Yeah,
it's healthy.
yeah, yeah. And I tell you, it's we as a society, or just I don't want to bash on society, but we as humans, we want it now. Period. I want it right now. It took me 40 years to get here, but I got a year to my wedding next year or my whatever thing next year. I got to be in perfect shape. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it. I was there, but
Yeah.
I've really kind of dedicated a lot of my message and coaching to people to like highlight how that's really not the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And your following's pretty good out there. I'm telling you, just what you're talking about. And this is what I'm seeing out there. I'm seeing that and I think once we get away from all the fads, I think we'll be happier. Because in my philosophy has always been, doing any kind of training, you shouldn't be miserable. You should at least have fun. And I guess maybe that's just my old age now. You're not caring as much. I'm just having fun. So maybe that's it.
Just have fun, and like your training should be tough, and maybe I mean, tell me like you're doing sets of Bulgarian split squats, you're going to be miserable, right? For
Yeah.
a
Shit.
temporary period of time. But then you feel great that you feel accomplished, and I actually did that. I was disciplined, and I did something really tough today.
Yeah.
Multiply
Yeah.
that times every day. You're a pretty solid, strong person, mentally, emotionally, and physically, right?
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, you're right. It should be a fun process. You should be enjoying it. Here's the thing, man. At the end of the day, health and fitness should add to your life, not remove from it. And these
Mm.
fads, they remove joy from your life. Well,
Yeah.
I can't. Sorry, babe. I can't go out to dinner tonight because I'm doing this keto thing, and that restaurant has like a lot of carbs. And your wife's like, "Cool, you just became boring as fuck. I don't want to fuck you anymore." Right?
Exactly.
Like this,
Exactly.
it's brutal.
Exactly.
That's removing from your life. I want fitness to add to my client's life. I want them to be able to have the energy and the flexibility and the freedom to enjoy things they like to do while still making progress. And
Yeah.
and you have to be the fine line between interpreting that like, oh wow, I can eat whatever the hell I want, whenever I want, and work with this guy and he'll get me into shape. Well, a little bit, but not whenever you want.
Yeah.
You have to be reasonable about this. Like you have to be kind of like a grown adult and understand that there is some discipline required here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking a flexible approach that allows you to enjoy life is really the key, because this should be making your life better, not worse.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Well, when you got this mindset, do you attest? I'm gonna back up a little bit. So, do you attest this mindset of going through, of beating alcoholism and drugs and everything else to have this more, uh, this better outlook on life with your fitness? You know what I mean? Does that mesh right?
I'd say so. I mean, when you hit rock bottom, if you allow yourself to use that rock bottom as a really powerful trampoline, you're only going to get stronger and stronger as you climb to the top.
Got it. Got it.
But, if you're determined, you don't want to go back to where you were before, you're going to find a way to become more disciplined. You're going to find a way to dedicate yourself more to the process, because going backwards is your worst fear.
Gotcha.
And I'm not talking about going backwards for like a week or two and like falling off track a little bit here and there. I'm talking about like a complete 180.
Yeah. Yeah.
So having that experience has really told me, hey, I definitely know where I don't want to be.
Right.
And I know where I want to be. So there's no turning back at this point.
Yeah.
Because if I let myself go, anytime and look, I've been working out, being very dedicated to the process for 15 years now, coaching people full time for 12. Like I said, there's weeks here and there where it's like, I'm going to dial it back and just like be a little bit more lax with my food and not care. If I ever, for whatever reason, maybe like moving here took a lot of stress, right?
Oh, I bet.
A lot of stress, a lot of time. We have this kind of trifecta in life, right? We have our health and fitness, we have business and finances, and we have relationships, right?
Yes.
Health, wealth, and relationships.
Yeah.
If you're trying to peak and go all in on one of them, the other two are going to suffer a little bit.
Are going to suffer. Absolutely.
Right? So if you're 100% focused on business, your training, your diet's probably not going to be as great as it typically is. That doesn't mean that it's going to go away. You shouldn't let that happen, but you're not going to be peak training dialed in with your macros when you're 100% focused on business. If your relationship at home needs some work and, hey, I'm really working on this right now, the other two are not going to be in peak shape too. And that's just normal. So us moving here was just kind of like a relationship life thing. I mean, I gained like 10 pounds.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I was beating myself up with it. And when I am not as consistent with things, the rest of my life kind of turns into a mess too. Right? If I'm not as consistent with my nutrition and fitness for more than a week, that's when mindsets, like mood, all this kind of stuff really just kind of takes a sharp turn. So it's just a testament that you never want to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And that does make sense. That because you see yourself doing that quite a bit in life because everything's changing in your life all the time. You have change all the time. It's how you handle it. What is the most frustrating thing you see in these other, I'm not pointing anybody out, but these other trainers out there that hinders everything in the fitness area? This hinders for everybody's trying to do the right thing out there.
Yeah, it's these, I alluded to it earlier, these people with this extreme bias. I mean, you're shirtless in a supermarket pointing out all the terrible foods that are going to cause all these diseases and kill you.
Yeah.
You're grabbing a bag of chips, reading the ingredients, and then
I've seen those.
spouting off like actually false information about all these things because you have this extreme bias. That's just promoting this fear around the process with a lot of people who don't know better. And it's also creating a terrible relationship with food in the process, right? There's a term called right? It's called orthorexia, which is the obsession with health, an unhealthy obsession with health.
Okay.
Right? So you have these kind of guru influencers with a massive following because they're charming, right? They're influential.
Yeah.
They know how to get engagement. I mean, they might have 1 million followers and they go out there and they're like, hey, if you eat a baby carrot every day, it's going to fix, this problem. Like what?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What is that based off? Or fruit will cause diabetes and make you fat. Like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
Like, how is it that populations that are nearer the equator who have more fruit and eat an abundance of it every day have a way lower obesity problem?
Right.
And a way lower prevalence of diabetes. Huh, that's interesting. Maybe you're full of shit, right? Or the people that just, talk poorly of any kind of food type and claim it's going to cause a major issue. It's not the food type. It's the fact that you're fucking lazy and you eat too much food. Whether it be
Simple.
that particular food you're promoting fear around or just food in general, that's your main problem. I guarantee you, and there's multiple studies done on these things. I guarantee you, if you kept a bit of that quote unquote unhealthy food in your diet, but you trained your ass off and kept to a calorie deficit, your blood markers, your weight, and your health would drastically improve 100 times more than just worrying about removing a seed oil.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
It's not seed oil, dude. It's the fact that you sit on your ass all day.
Yeah. Got point. Very good point.
And it's these people that are like, hey, carbs will make you fat and cause diabetes. Like, you're overweight promoting this and you drink like 3 times a week.
Yeah. Right. Right.
How would make this make sense? 70, 60, sometimes 60% of my diet is from carbohydrate. Maybe if you trained hard enough, you'd understand you actually need carbs.
Yeah. You need that for the
That's
energy
what
base.
fuels
Yeah.
your performance. Yeah, fuels your performance, helps you recover. And guess what? The lack of carbohydrates in your diet, you're going to atrophy quite a bit. You're not going to build very much muscle at all.
Oh,
You
wow.
probably lose it. So that makes your composition worse. Yeah, you lose weight because you lose a lot of water weight when you remove carbs, and that's this kind of survivorship bias that people have. I removed my carbs and I lost 20 pounds in a month. Yeah, you dropped a ton of water weight and muscle glycogen, and now you look skinny fat. Great job.
Yeah. Gotcha. Man, that
Anyway,
makes a lot of sense.
it's those people with wild, outlandish claims, right? And I get it, to get attention on social media, you have to have these big, wild, enthusiastic, outlandish claims to get attention. I would rather have a smaller following and actually help people effectively than have a million followers by lying to them.
That's pretty good. But as a society, we want that instant gratification. We want everything. So that's why we look at these gurus. We look at these guys. If I cut out this sugar and all this other kind of stuff, I'm going to be in perfect health. But that's just the way we think. We want to rush everything. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
man.
quick fix.
It's the quick fix. That's it. The quick fix, man. What's next for you coming down the pike? You've been in this industry for a long time. So how do you keep growing with the industry? You know what I mean? How do you stay on that trajectory or to grow?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, full transparency, I built and scaled the business. I built a team. I had coaches working for me, assistants,
Awesome, man.
sales, everything. And here's the honest truth. While I learned a lot from that, I invested into business coaching and everything to help me do that. My life went from working with clients directly and having that direct impact on their lives to like spreadsheets and marketing. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah.
the money's better, but this
Yeah.
isn't very fulfilling.
Gotcha.
So right around the time that we decided to move here to Bangkok, so this is our we're here for like, this is maybe our 7th or 8th week living here now.
Wow. Okay.
So we were in Texas, getting ready to sell the house, the actual move, waiting for the visa process. Like it wasn't just like you come here like cool. It's actually a huge process.
Oh, I bet.
We decided we made the decision to move here this September right now, 2025. We made a decision to move here last September.
Wow. That long.
That's
Holy
how.
cow.
Okay, so we selling the house, everything. So while we're going through that process, especially in the last 6 months, I just scaled back. I'm like, look, I don't want to do spreadsheets and marketing anymore. Like, you have
Yeah.
to kind of market yourself and track stuff.
Yeah.
So now I've scaled back, and it's giving me more joy and pleasure. I'm working with clients more again, which is fun. I still have an assistant coach, which is great, just because sometimes we get too many clients in one month. Sometimes we don't get any. It just
Yeah.
depends on the month.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But the next thing I've really been working on is, look, I'm in Thailand. There's a lot of very cool, interesting things here to document. So I've had the YouTube channel for a while now, but I've been a little less consistent, but I'm going all in on the YouTube channel now. It's called Food, Fitness, and Fisticuffs.
Food, fitness,
So
and
each and every
fisticuff.
week I'm putting out episodes doing kind of a street food review intertwined with like lifting and or Muay Thai.
That's
I'm in
cool.
Thailand.
Yeah.
So, you'll see me go into like really raw and gritty gyms and
Yeah.
then kind of like just documenting the gym, what it looks like, and maybe some training there. And then go into like a post workout meal at like a street food place and just kind of
Yeah.
reviewing it about the macro breakdown, but also like the flavors and the taste. And look, there's street food everywhere. Bangkok is the #1 food destination in the world. There was a recent statistic that came out that it would take 65 years to eat at every restaurant in Bangkok.
Are you kidding me?
And that's not even just indoor restaurants. Most of them, I mean, if we just went down, I'm on the roof of my building right now. If we would just went down there, there's little stalls everywhere. And it's just an old lady, maybe and her daughter or her sister, that have been running a little soup cart for like 40 years.
Wow.
They do one thing and they do it amazingly, and it costs $1 and it's filling. And it's the best chicken noodle
Man.
soup you'll ever get, Asian style. And they've just been in that one little spot, and they just got this little cart, and then there's night markets, right? There's night
Yeah.
markets that have all these lights. They're
Yeah.
cooking food. Like, you can get food for anything from like 80 cents to $2, and it's just the best food you'll ever get. So I'm filming a lot of that stuff and mixing in the Muay Thai and the gyms, because there's some interesting like lifting gyms here. Actually, Southeast Asia's biggest, most well-respected gym is right here in Bangkok, and I go. It's
Yeah.
actually no, it's a different over there.
Yeah, I like it.
I go there frequently. It's called Muscle Factory. It is not a fancy gym. It's people train there. Everyone there, they have razor sharp focus and their training. It's not clean. There's no air conditioning, so it's hot and muggy.
Yeah.
People there lift heavy ass weights and get jacked.
Wow.
I'm like documenting that kind of stuff. And then I'm going. I have 3 Muay Thai gym memberships. I've been filming those a lot, and I plan on here soon doing a little bit more travel inside of Thailand and doing the same thing in other areas. But eventually, I'm going to do a 30-day, 30 Muay Thai gyms and 30 street food reviews in 30 days.
Oh man.
That should help grow the channel. And honestly, I want to monetize the channel. I want to make that my job.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. That is
So
brilliant.
we'll be going to Vietnam and Malaysia and Indonesia and like Laos and all these places that are pretty close
Yeah.
to film sometime probably this year.
That's cool. Congratulations on the new, man. I hope it works for you. And it's kind of right you're saying that, because every night, if I get into bed and I have to wind my mind down, so I get into bed, I watch Andrew Zimmern, that the reruns of the old food stuff, just to watch him going around doing that. So you're going to be a healthier version, fitness Andrew Zimmern running around.
Yeah, like yeah, that's actually pretty accurate. It'd be like a fit Andrew Zimmern, or a couple of my friends that watch it like, oh, you're like a Jack Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, there
Okay,
you
cool.
go. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. But I hope it works for you, man, because I think that's a niche that's going to just explode. And you're going to be in shape doing all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's good
yeah, hopefully
stuff.
it works out.
Oh, it should.
It's a lot
I'm
of
sure.
work, but I can take the GoPro and just walk around the block and then show people stuff that they've never seen before. That's interesting. So there's just
Yeah.
like endless content.
Especially in the States, they're going to love that, man. Seeing all the newness of the food and how you're going to stay in shape by eating. But like you were saying earlier, you don't have to cut out everything to stay in shape, right?
No, not at all. And then also the Muay Thai gyms here. I think anyone who's interested in striking in the States fantasizes about training Muay Thai in Thailand. It's just different. This is where it's from. And, the sport aside, Muay Thai is very important to just Thai people in general, because it's derived from Muay Baran, which was the original martial art that the Siamese military used when they had to drop their weapons, or if they dropped their weapons, or in combination with their weapons when they're fighting off the Burmese or the Cambodians to create their land, to create Thailand. The word Thailand translates to land of the free. They attribute Muay Thai and Muay Baran to their freedom in this country. A
Yeah.
lot of them will say it's in blood. So the fighters here, they start when they're like 6 years old. So by the end of their
Really?
careers, which ends in their mid-20s or 30s, some of these guys have had like 150 fights.
What?
Yeah.
Holy cow. So is that what made you want to move to Thailand? Was it the fighting or just the culture in itself, all of it?
So I came here 9 years ago in 2016 for 6 weeks and trained. I got into the camp, Muay Thai camp. I trained twice a day. I wasn't really doing touristy stuff at all. And I got so dialed in. I mean, I was moving fantastically, just went home, took a fight, kicking ass, awesome. But I had this idea, because I was a personal trainer in a gym then. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to live there, but make American money online somehow. And I didn't know how. And I've been in that position to do this for quite a long time, but my wife wasn't really open to the idea. And then finally I just convinced her. I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. So it's a big part of it, but yeah, the Muay Thai is a huge thing. I won't lie. I'd say it's 50 or 60% of the reason we moved here. But then there's different culture. It's cheaper. The climate's awesome. I mean, it's hot and muggy. Even though it's the cool, well, right now it's the rainy season, but even the cool season is like 85 and sunny. That's the
I
cool
love it
season.
when it's hot, man. I love the heat.
Yeah. So Thailand, most of Thailand has 3 seasons. It's a rainy season, which is now, so it's about 90 degrees and slightly overcast. The sun comes out for periods of time, and mostly what that means the rainy season is you might get a big rain for an hour or two in most of the evenings.
Okay.
That's it. And that's followed by a cool season. Now the cool season is, like I said, it's sunny, but it's like 85. And then there's a really hot season, and that's like 105, and it's like I don't go outside before, you know, before like
That's like having weather
I'm
for me.
I'm just dripping in sweat sitting. So just imagine the Muay Thai gyms, they're outside. They're covered, but there's no AC or nothing. So I'm drinking well over a gallon of water with a ton of salt and electrolytes in it, and I'm still dehydrated afterwards.
Oh man, you got to be dropping some serious, man, just everything doing work. And the workouts are what, like a couple hours a day or what?
Depends on the gym. Some gyms are 90 to 120 minutes. Sometimes one of the I go to, they seem to have kind of a just random flexible approach. I guess it depends on who's there, and they're like, they'll just keep you going. You're like, dude, I've been doing this for 2 hours. Like, come on. And it feels good. I mean, honestly, at 44, I keep up with 22-year-olds just as well.
Nice, man. Nice.
The problem is after the fact, the recovery. So if I sit down to take my shin pads off after a class like that, I'm like, damn, I'm actually having trouble getting up.
Yeah, I should have sat down. Screw it.
Yeah, and they're just ready to go. They're like, cool, you guys want to go to a restaurant now? I'm like, yeah, just give me a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so some of those gyms are like that. The one that's nearest me that I go to, it's only an hour, but they smoke you for that hour.
Really?
It's good enough. Yeah, and
that's
look,
cool.
I'm not trying to fight. I just want to get better at the martial art, stay fit, and keep the food sharp. So I mean, I don't even need to be training Muay Thai as much as I need to now, or as I am now, because I'm not gonna fight. But
it's in your blood, though, great. Man. You still want to train. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So yeah, some days it's an hour, some days it's 2.
Man, that's cool, man. I love it how you're doing what you're doing over there, man. You're going from the martial arts fitness and going into the foodie and all that stuff, man. It's going to be huge for you, brother. I'm believing that. And I'm going to speak that for you, man. But hey, brother, before we get you out of here, because I know you got to start your day over there in the heat. Yeah, tell everybody how they can reach you.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at iron_will_PT, and the YouTube channel is Food Fitness Fisticuffs. Kind of a long thing to type into YouTube, but it'll be worth it. Putting out episodes every week. Our website this week is actually under construction, but it's ironwillpt.net. If you're interested in coaching and a little bit more. If you can't find it, just shoot me a message on Instagram. I respond to all my messages there because that's cool. That website's under construction, so hopefully it'll work again. But yeah.
Gotcha, brother. Appreciate you more than you know, man, for coming out here doing this, taking the time out of your busy day over there and just getting your day started with us. And I feel kind of honored that you start your day with us, man. And I'm looking forward for a lot of stuff to happen with you, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, likewise. I appreciate the thought, your time and your interest in what I have to say, because stuff I talk about every day, it's not particularly interesting to me, but I think it should be helpful, or hopefully it's helpful and influential to some other people who might need it.
Oh, it definitely will, man. It definitely will. But brother, we'll talk soon. We got to have you on for part 2 as we see your other platform take off. I really want to dive into that as you get that started, and you can take us on a tour of what you're doing out there, man.
Hell yeah, awesome. Yeah, this week the first episode came out, so we're rolling. We've got like 12 episodes filmed, and I'm filming 2 a week. So
nice. We'll be looking for you, man. Hey, brother, you take care of yourself out there, and we'll talk soon.
You too, man. Thanks a lot.
Take care, brother. Bye.
See ya.
Oh, man.